Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. I'm Nick Park, and over the years, I've been in some really long church services. I've been in some services that were short, been in a few that were too short, but I've been in a lot of church services that were simply too long. Have you ever wondered what was the longest ever Christian church service? Well, it turns out it was actually comparatively recently, just in the last few years, and it took place in the Netherlands, in The Hague, where a church service lasted for 96 days, non-stop, 24 hours a day for 96 days. The longest Christian church service in history. It was in the Bethel Church in The Hague. Now, why on earth would you have a church service that lasted for 96 days non-stop? My first thought was maybe it was some kind of sponsored thing, a fundraiser. Maybe it was the pastor wanted to get his name in the Guinness Book of Records. But no, it was none of that. It was actually to help and bless one family, a family of refugees from Armenia who had fled to Holland. And they were due to be deported, and the police wanted to arrest them and deport them and then send them back to Armenia. Many of the Christians had got to know this family. They believed that they had a very justifiable case to remain in the country, and the Christians came to love these people, and they wanted to do something to help them. But how can you help somebody when the police are going to arrest them and deport them? Well, the folks in the Bethel Church discovered that there was an old law, I think it went back to medieval times, where it is illegal in the Netherlands to interrupt a church service. Even the police are not allowed to interrupt a church service. Even if the police want to go into a church service and arrest a murderer, they have to wait until the service is finished before they can go in and do that. And so the Bethel Church said, well, okay, let's have a church service, and we'll have the family. They can stay in the church while we're having the service, and we'll keep the service going until the danger of them being arrested and deported is removed. And that's why they kept on worshipping non-stop for 96 days. Now, of course, that would be very much for one church to sustain. So a lot of other churches got on board as well. In fact, during those 96 days, there were over 1,000 pastors from other churches got involved as being part of this wonderful, great 96-day church service. And in the end, what happened after 96 days, the government agreed a change of policy that would actually allow this family to remain in the Netherlands. And at that, they were able to say the benediction and close the church service after 96 days of continuous worship, public worship. What an effort for one family. You know, sometimes I've been involved with doing prayer, now physical prayer that goes on one service for 24 hours or for 3 days or whatever. And to sustain that takes a lot of hard work and dedication and commitment. To sustain a church service for 96 days is an incredible commitment from a huge amount of people. But they did it for one family, because this family needed help. This family needed blessing, and the church was determined to do what they could to bless them. And so they expended an incredible amount of time and effort and energy to bless one family. And you know what? That really touched my heart, because I do believe that the church, as Christians, we're supposed to be like God. And you know what? God will bless us, even whenever our needs appear to be quite trivial. We bring them to God, and God answers prayer. I've sometimes had people say, why would you bring something so trivial to God in prayer? Because I believe that God cares about every detail in our lives. There's also a statement I've made, and I believe it to be true, that if only one person had ever gone astray and was on their way to hell, that Jesus would still have come and died on the cross for them. Such is his love for us. And so if God is prepared to do all of that for us, then it's not unreasonable for the church to go to such a huge effort to bless one family. Well, today, hopefully, you have the capacity to bless somebody and to be an encouragement to somebody and to be the answer to their prayers without having to do something as drastic as having a church service for 96 days non-stop. So whatever it is put in your heart to bless somebody, to bless a family, to bless an individual today, do it in God's name. And in doing so, you are being like God himself. May God bless you, a godly people who are being like God. Join us again next time for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.